Okay, so this is what I use to dry my grain. Ken Halavang put it out from North Dakota. It can be found online, and it just gives your, let's see if we can find my pointer there, your relative humidity here, and then your temperature, and you cross-sect the two. So say if we were drying at 90 degrees, and we were way up in this area, 6 or 15% humidity range, that means if we left it on indefinitely, it would eventually dry down to 6.4%. So you can use this, especially if you're drying without heat. And with summer, you say, okay, it's 70 degrees out. You can find out what your relative humidity is. I have an app that I use it from. And then you say your relative humidity is 70 degrees and say, oh, well, you know, we can only dry this grain to 14.8% and we can't ship it until 13.6%. So in the Northeast, where we have our nights will go all the way to 95 or 100% humidity, and your temperature will start dropping. So say if your temperature drops to 60 degrees overnight and your relative humidity goes up to 90%, then you're pumping, if you were to leave it on indefinitely at that, it would go to 19.2, which is way too wet. So what I do is I'll just wait. It's pretty easy to get it to 15, 16 range. You see there's a large part of the chart that's like that, where you can get it there pretty easily. After that, I wait and I just turn the fans on. I always have fans that move a lot of air, and that will dry the grain down in a couple of hours. When you have that lower humidity, you can just get another point out of it, and every time your humidity and your temperature cross-sect to where you can dry a little more out, you just flip it on. And that's how I get my grains down to, I usually like to take them down around 12.5 or 13 before shipping them. The other thing that I thought I would mention is the Pocket Lab sensors that I have that I showed in the video. Is an easy way to tell what your humidity is and what your temperature is, especially if you're adding heat. It can tell you where you land on this chart. Also, it can tell you how well your drying system is working. When I started that video comparing the two bins, there was a difference between the two bins right off, and it showed up at the end of the video that the larger fan did end up drying, and by the end of, I think that the duration of that drying was about 6 or 7 hours, there was about a percentage point difference between the two bins at the end. So the larger fan definitely did make a bit of a difference. So these charts come for, there's one for soft wheat. If we go back up, there's one for durum. There's sunflowers. There's a bunch of them. I think there's 10 or 12 of them, and they give you a pretty good gauge, because a lot of them are different. So if you're drying edible beans down, you know what? They dry easier. So everything isn't quite the same as to what it'll dry down to with temperature and relative humidity. Hope this helps you guys in your drying endeavors. Thanks for watching.